What's good, YouTube? Today we're going to be talking about a couple of cool black metal releases that I've found on Bandcamp. So, first of all, if you aren't subscribed yet, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you're already subscribed, thank you. So, I wanted to just run down a couple of awesome releases I found on Bandcamp. Some stuff that's sold out physically or maybe only exists on Bandcamp. I've really come to love the platform of Bandcamp as a fan, but I think it also benefits creators, artists, and bands way more than it does the fan. I absolutely love what it's doing for just all DIY musicians. It's such a cool thing. So if you're not on Bandcamp yet and you're curious about it, have a look at the link down below. You can see my collection, you can see my wish list, so you can get a sneak peek of some stuff I might be talking about in future videos. But today I've got a handful of really nasty, great black metal releases and one that's not. We'll get into it. So I feel like this year last year, I was just inundated and drowning in a lot of these like young, super talented kids coming up in the black metal world who just figured it out. They just are making amazing 90s inspired black metal stuff that is raw as fuck and really pretty fucking good. The thing about it, it's like back in the 90s, you had to find the good stuff. So it's like right now, it just feels like every fucking new band that I see coming across my feed on Instagram and on Facebook, and people are texting me about this, and even the social area of Bandcamp is just filled to the brim with friends of mine and followers of my YouTube channel who are listening to cool shit and finding amazing stuff out there. So it's just, I am so blown away by the amount of quality stuff that's going on everywhere. But I don't know how to handle it. I as a collector, and I think as a person who comes from a pre-Bandcamp, physical only, pre-internet kind of mentality, you feel like you have to fucking have it all, but you can't. But that's just something we're gonna have to figure out how to deal with. That's all secondary to enjoying amazing music, right? So I wasn't planning on doing this video until I listened to this particular demo, and I was like, I gotta shoot a video and get this thing in here. The band is called Volhal. Obviously, for all this stuff, I'll put links down below for you to check it out on Bandcamp. Volhal is this new project from Norway, and I don't really know much about it. It's a one-man band, but holy shit, is it good. If I would have done a year-end list, probably would have been on there, but the thing is, right now, there's no physical format of it whatsoever. It's only on Bandcamp, and I believe it's name your price. A lot of this stuff is going to be name your price, totally affordable, digital downloads, but oh my god, it's so good. If you're a fan of Fortress, okay, amazing group, just flawless riff mastery, just blasting relentless stuff. This really falls in line with something like Fortress, but there are a few kind of caveats that I have to Fortress style. I won't get into it too much, but what I like about Volhal versus Fortress is just like there's a little bit more variation in style. There's more kind of fun parts where they drop it down to a 2/4 kind of beat. A lot of like dive bomb kind of solos and stuff going on. Just lots and lots of fun variation instead of just like the sheer utter intensity 100% of the time. This works in a lot more variation, and it sounds a little bit more Norwegian than something like Fortress. It's cold, relentless, black, and blasty. Just killer riffs all over the place. Oh man, cool samples of battles and stuff going on. It is just, it's just such a glorious fucking decadent masterpiece of riffery, just black metal all over the place. It's so fucking fun. Can't recommend that enough. By the way, the calm and cooling sounds that we're hearing is another thing that I discovered on Bandcamp. I already covered it when I did a collection update where I got it in on CD, but this project is called Eindulmadur. I believe that's what it's. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but it's out of Sweden. The album's called The Lunar Lexicon. Really kind of like studying music. It just kind of gets your brain in this calm but still capable sort of mood or atmosphere to it. I love it. Reminds me a lot of some of the early Burzum intros. So anything that I can take away from Burzum without having to listen to that fucking bastard is awesome. I really was just blown away by this album. It's especially a headphone release if you're gonna check it out. So Molded Valhalla, holy, just amazing. I gotta think some label's gonna pick that up and do a physical copy of it, and it's gonna sell out in 10 fucking minutes, I'm sure. If something's gonna sell out in 10 minutes on Bandcamp or your Go to Warx website or whatever, fine. I don't fucking want to have to deal with it. You know, waiting in lines for hamburgers, I'm not fucking sitting around F5ing all day for records. Got better shit to do. Thank you. So, another thing I gotta talk about is When Bitter Spring Sleeps. He has a new EP called Castle Metal. This is a very dear friend of mine. And actually, I was going to collaborate with him on this release. I was nuts about Elastis's The Just Law record about a year ago. And I got super into just very slow and doomy kind of black metal albums, early Samael, but I just could not stop listening to Elastis's The Just Law. So I reached out to my buddy and I said, look, if you want to do something similar to this, I would love to just program drums on this, do some vocals over it, and we'll do some kind of like really dirgy, sort of really slow, but black metal kind of project. Well, things got in the way, particularly coronavirus, and I haven't seen my best friend for over a year. So I did go over there around to his house and studio around January, February, something like that, and we worked on some drum patterns and stuff, and he just took that and went with it, and thank God he did. I'm so thankful that this project didn't just like fall by the wayside and turn out to be nothing. I wish I could have been more involved in it, but fucking coronavirus got in the way, and I entirely blame Donald fucking Trump, piece of shit. Anyways, so he turned this into something quite a bit different from what I had in mind, but it's so good. He wound up kind of like bundling it in with his When Bitter Spring Sleeps project, which is something I super admire him for because of how often it changes from release to release. He's constantly evolving, trying out new ideas, and having a lot of success at it. I can't urge you enough to check out When Bitter Spring Sleeps to see what he's done over the years. And so this new one, Castle Metal, is really slow, and he's also kind of working with some different kind of vocal styles. He told me that he wanted to try something kind of in the lines of Lycia vocals, and I was super interested in either helping him do backup vocals or choral stuff, or kind of helping him out in the studio to get that achieved. I don't think I would agree that the end product wound up sounding quite as much like Lycia as I think he could have gotten away with, but it does sound super grim and just mystical. It's just got this swath of just synthesizer going on and melodies and guitars. It's not it's something that I don't think you could achieve if it were a more fast-paced kind of busy album. Having his project and his music slowed down to a more calm and subdued kind of style really has elevated the atmospheric element that he is bringing to the table, with a lot of these swirling guitar, little melodies and keyboards going on. But it's so fun to hear him slow things way down and make something that's just got his signature personality on it all. So I'll leave that down below. Check out When Bitter Spring Sleeps, Castle Metal. It's a new EP. There's 40 copies of it on cassette for $10, and I'm sure that'll sell out in very, very quickly. So also you can get the digital download. He's done something kind of different where you can't preview the entire EP until you buy it for, I think it's like $5. So once you pay the $5 for the digital download, you get the whole download, but you can't stream the whole thing before you pay for it. And I think that makes perfect sense. He's trying to recoup his shirt before he loses it. So the next album I want to talk about is this new demo. It's holy shit. Among me and my friends, we're passing this around, and it is the new hot thing. So you're welcome. I'm not going to pronounce this correctly whatsoever. I'm just going to put it right here, and we're going to call it Tura. Let's just call it Tura. And the band has 2 demos out. I have yet to hear the earlier one, but this new one just dropped like a week or 2 ago. No Veg Calgeno, something like that. But holy shit. So like I worry sometimes that like there's people out there who are maybe out of a job and can somehow figure out how to spend all day quarantining and listening to this amazing black metal that's dropping on Bandcamp all the fucking time, and can then kind of understand where the good stuff is and where the kind of mediocre stuff is. So like, I think this is amazing, but this may not be amazing compared to a lot of other people's standards who are listening to this kind of stuff over and over and over and over and over again. I feel like Lamp of Murmur this year kind of like rose to the top of all that kind of thing, but there was a lot of other amazing stuff that kind of could be interpreted this way or that. I feel like you can kind of have varying success right now because no one can really figure out how to consume all of these amazing releases whatsoever. You just can't. It's absolutely mind-blowing. But anyway, so Tura is this. So I don't know where Tura is from. I don't really know anything about it. But it's just super, super grim, monochromatic, just cold and sinister sounding. It reminds me a little bit of the way Paysage de Verre has this way, like, you kind of have to like tune your ears or like squint your ears that does that. There's a little bit of keyboard going on way, way, way down in there. Oh man. But despite that, I know you can probably say that about a lot of grim black metal releases right now, but it remains, I think, unique in how much clarity there is to a lot of the different elements going through the demo, but also it's really riffy. The song structures are there. He's doing a lot of interesting things. It's not all blasty all the time. The riffs are absolutely killer stuff. So please do check out, do yourself a favor, Tura with No Veg Calgeno. And I'm stoked to check out the other demo here soon. Kind of similar, along those same lines. I know a lot of people were freaking out about the physical release of this, but that doesn't mean you can't still enjoy a digital album. The band is called Cold Earth, and the album is called Your Suffering, My Triumph. I can't remember where I first heard about this. You know, it's one of those things on Bandcamp, you've got the social aspect of it, where you can see what your friends are buying. Maybe that's where it came up, but I think it caught my eye. I don't know where I found it, who knows, but it is like, you cannot talk about this release without mentioning how much it sounds like Judas Iscariot, particularly To Embrace the Corpse's Bleeding. That era is my absolute favorite era of Judas Iscariot, but I think they even kind of took into account how great of an album that was, but there's a little bit, like, you could probably say, I would maybe prefer if that album were a little bit nastier and sounded a little more grim like his earlier releases. And this feels right there, exactly what that ought to be. I'm no way going to admit that this sounds like better than a Judas Iscariot release whatsoever, but it's kind of what I would have wanted a perfect Judas Iscariot album to sound like. I mean, that's quite a statement, right? It's really, really good. It's just unrelenting, knife to the fucking throat black metal. Grim as all shit. They're from Germany, and they have members of Shores of Ladon, which is another awesome project, but that's a lot like slower, more kind of mid-paced atmosphere kind of stuff. But this Cold Earth, man, it is just fucking unrelenting, violent, vicious, riffy, nasty, black and white black metal through and through, and they finish it off with a cover of Judas Iscariot. Let me look up the track. I forgot what it was. This is pretty new to me, so I'm not super well versed on it. This is just stuff I'm just like stoked as fuck on right now. They end the album with a cover of Spill the Blood of the Lamb, which is from Heaven and Flames, and it is so fucking good. Urge you to check out Cold Earth, Your Misery, My Triumph. Looking forward to what they do next. Killer project. So something completely different. I can't just act like I sit here and listen to black metal all day long. There's a release I've been listening to constantly. So another kind of side genre of music I'm into is called Zuul. Zuul? I can never quite feel like I'm pronouncing it correctly. If you want an introduction to this kind of side genre, a friend of mine does a YouTube channel called The Language Bar, and he, first of all, brilliant reviews, but he has an introduction to Zuul genre rundown, and it is amazing. It's perfect entry point. I really recommend it. I'll leave a link down below for you to check it out. Zuul is a genre of music that I've been kind of studying in and out of over the years. So basically what it boils down to is like super French, progressive, noisy kind of music that all, I guess, exists to pay tribute to the band Magma. Magma is a band that I can't really get into. I keep trying to get into Magma and I can't do it. But all these Zuul bands, not all these Zuul bands, quite a few of these Zuul bands just make my brain go happy. It's caustic and fun and bangy and clangy and disharmonic and just annoying. Which is why Legron Spum's Fervent has been playing in rotation a lot. If you're curious at all, I also made a Zuul playlist on Spotify last night. I had a super fun time doing it. Discovered a bunch of new stuff. I'll put a link down below for that if you want to check it out. But Legron Spum is this like super group of 8 players. It's got lots of different, it's got everything, honestly. They're caustic and obnoxious and just fun and exhilarating, but they do it in ways with more traditional instrumentation, and they do something like that without having to rely on noisy, weird studio, unconventional instrumentation. They bring in a lot of kind of vocal choir sort of trade-off kind of deals, bombastic drums. Some of them play two drum players at the same time. But yeah, I have just been super appreciative of the Language Bar's recommendation of Legron Spums, and Nye for another one. Oh my god, such good stuff. So I don't know, let me know if you are already familiar with Zuul music. If so, what are your favorite bands? But if not, please do check out Language Bar's video about it or my Spotify playlist. And if you're interested in getting introduced into some very weird music that in some ways it kind of works for me the way a lot of metal does. It's caustic and bombastic and annoying. It's the kind of thing that you would play if you wanted to make someone leave the room, and for some reason that just scratches itches in my brain that I don't understand how to fix in any other ways. So this kind of music, especially metal, but also Zuul music, does for me like nothing else does. You ever have itches in your brain that you just can't figure out how to get itched? Yeah, me too, just like that. So last but not least, this is my pick of the video. Not to say that any of the other releases aren't fucking amazing releases, but save the best for last. Senera with the Everlorn, out of Nacogdoches, Texas. This is a solo project, and you can't really talk about this without mentioning Dissection's Storm of the Light's Bane. This album just takes all of that amazing riff songwriting style and just works it into his new solo project. It's great. I'm not going to say it's reinventing any wheels, but it exists to pay tribute to the great Swedish gods, and mostly sounds like Dissection. Even the little like nuancy kind of back away from the microphone kind of noodle riffs that he plays, I've just noticed there's so many little subtle things that I've heard other bands who sound like Dissection or like want to pay tribute to Dissection, they missed a lot of those little tricks and little nuances that Notified worked into a lot of his song styles. This was a digital only release at first, but it looks like Northern Silence Productions has picked this up and they're putting it out on LP, CD, the whole 9 yards. Now Northern Silence is fucking blowing up next year from what I can tell. This year, now that it's this year and not next year. I keep doing that. Do you do that too? So Senera the Everlorn, oh my god. Like, you all know Dissection, duh. Problematic band for me, so I'm pretty relieved to be able to enjoy total Dissection worship without having it be made by an artist who killed someone for being gay. So that's cool. Hope you check out Senera the Everlorn. Awesome, awesome stuff, dude. So yeah, there you go. There's a pile of Bandcamp rundown stuff for you to check out. I hope you like some of it. Links down below for all this stuff, and we'll see you next time